What's up, and welcome to the Sisterhood Corner. To the newbies, welcome. To those who've been here before, welcome back. This letter reads, Trapped in a loveless marriage. Hi, Sisterhood Corner. I hope my recording reaches you. I am turning 30 this year, and though this is supposed to be a happy time, turning the big 3-0, of course, I'm at my most miserable. Before continuing, I would like to say that I am not looking for a pity party, as I do take full responsibility for my actions, especially the actions that led me here. I come from a poor family background. My mother never really managed to create a home for me and my brother. So we grew up in our grandmother's house with our uncles. After high school, my brother and I applied for financial aid and were lucky enough to get it. We got it and we proceeded to further our studies. My brother grabbed that opportunity with both hands and later graduated with an IT qualification. A few years ago, he moved abroad, got married, and never looked back. Though we do keep in touch, we unfortunately never had a very strong bond. I, on the other end, I met my current husband while studying, and instead of focusing on finishing my studies, I dropped out in my second year and got married. My husband, already financially stable at the time, seemed like the quickest way for me to escape the poverty and dysfunction at home. Besides, he had promised that once married, I could pick up from where I left off, and he would pay for me to further my education. My mums and uncles were elated, of course, as the lobola money meant money in their pockets to help them feed their alcoholism. After getting married, we started building a family. After the birth of our third child, I then brought up the topic about getting back to school with my husband. He asked that I wait until the child was a bit grown and we would revisit the subject. Unfortunately, that never happened. What followed after were even more excuses as to why I couldn't go back to school. It was as if the timing was just never right each time I brought it up. I then started looking for employment with my matric, as a job would enable me to further my studies. I found one, and on the day I broke the news to him, it was like I had woken up a beast inside of him. From that day, I started enduring physical abuse, and he started controlling my every movement. I couldn't have friends, couldn't visit family, and if I needed money for either the kids or my needs, I would have to prove it before he released the funds. My life today feels like a prison sentence. I can't pack and go home to my alcoholic mom and uncles, as that won't be a good environment for my kids. I no longer have friends, and even if I did, who would accommodate me with 3 kids? I am drained. The physical abuse has not only taken a toll on me, on my body, but it has also affected my self-esteem and overall mental health. I am reminded by him daily that no one would want me with three kids, and I have nowhere to go. He always tells me how useless my family is and that it's a family of drunkards. I am drowning. I need help. I really don't know what to do. But what I do know is I cannot live like this any longer. Sure, another heavy one. This is a very heartbreaking story. But thank you so much for reaching out. I hope that you do find some kind of light with what I'm going to say. I do respect you for one thing. I think that a lot of people, not just women, but a lot of people in general, once they're in situations where they feel trapped, it really takes a real, in this case, takes a real woman to say, listen, I'm not looking for a pity party. I take full responsibility for the actions that brought me here. This is a first. I've never heard anyone so far, ever in a long, geez, I haven't heard this in a long time, actually. Somebody who outright says, listen, I take full responsibility, right? And I think for you, it's in a way you beat yourself up, about not finishing school when the opportunity arose, for both you and your brother. And I think that's why you bring your brother in the story, just to sort of like paint a picture of how he took advantage of the opportunity and you didn't, right? But I want to first say to you, stop beating yourself up about that. Life is about trial and error. We fall, we get up, we keep moving. We fall, we get up, we keep moving. And listen, what you made, it is a mistake. Anybody could have made it. Um, I think that as human beings, we do believe in love, and as women, particularly, um, I, I I think a lot of women would have taken the opportunity to marry a man who says to them, "Listen," and you can see he has the money, so and he says to you, "You'll continue with your education once we married." Um, and based on the background you come from, a lot of us would have taken that. If that was me in your shoes, I would have taken that opportunity, because it's like killing two birds with one stone. So you marry the rich man, but at the same time you still continue with your studies. No more poverty. And people who've never experienced poverty will never understand what we're talking about, I guess, right? um so who am I to judge you for making that decision, and who are we on this panel to judge you for making that decision? It felt like the right decision. Fine, fast forward, you do feel you should have completed your studies, but we're here now. We can't operate on what ifs. That's where then we can't forge ahead. When we start operating on what ifs, we fail to forge ahead. So let's cancel all of that, right? Now, I'm worried about the fact that you are in a physically abusive relationship. I cannot I cannot stress out how high our GBV levels are in this country. And for me, the most important thing is to get you to safety. That marriage is over. I think that a man who loves with so much disdain, when somebody starts putting their hands on you, when somebody starts belittling you with words, telling you nobody's going to want you, telling you things that will tear you down on the inside, that's disdain. That person does not even like you. So, and then they get physical on top of that. Eventually, they will unalive you. So, my thing is, and like you said, you can't go home. It's a dysfunctional environment of alcoholics, um, and it's not even your mother's house. Your best option is a shelter. I know a lot of women, when they think shelters, they think, oh my God, the bottom of the barrel. In there, you might end up learning skills. I know one in specific shelter. I don't know if it's still there, but I remember ages ago when I was still in my 20s and I'd worked as a journalist for about 2 years. I had done a story with one shelter in Hillbrow. And there, what they do is they would also teach women life survival skills, so skills that will help you take care of your kids going forward. So my thing is, look for a shelter. That's your best protection. If you take your kids one day, plan your exit properly, pack up your kids' stuff, plan your stuff. One day he goes to work, he comes back, you're gone. You will find solace in a shelter. There you can hide and don't tell anybody where you are. Anyway, you don't owe anybody that information at this point. Like you said, you don't have friends or anybody that you need to tell. Find that shelter, go and stay there with your kids until you find yourself, until you feel safe, until you're back on your feet and can stand on your own and can look after your kids and eventually move out of the shelter. I don't think that people shine enough light on shelters as much as they should. And I think it's something that people need to do a lot more. because a lot of women have actually gone into shelters and found their footing there before facing the world again. So at this point, I think that, you know, you are in survival mode. So this is the right time to seek out that shelter and leave. And then the emotional healing will follow once you are in a safer place, in a safe environment in that shelter. I hope and pray that you find solace in what I've said, and I hope and pray that you do think about what I just told you. Life is not over. You're too young at 30. You're still very young. You can still change your life around and have the life you've always dreamed of. It's not late. I wish you well. I hope that strength carries you.